It was already the 3rd of the month, and the stress had officially taken over. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the bright red notice with final warning stamped across the top. Rent was due. Again. And I didn't have it. My name's Hannah Clark, 31, a freelance illustrator trying to survive in downtown Phoenix. Rent in the city was high, clients were slow to pay, and every time I thought I was finally getting ahead, something came along and knocked me right back. This time, it was a client who canceled a big project halfway through and refused to pay for the work I'd already done. I hadn't even fought it. I was too exhausted. I figured I had a few more days before Eric showed up, maybe a polite reminder or a warning email. But Eric had other plans. I had just pulled out my phone to text him when there was a knock on my door. I froze. I could practically feel my heart sink into my stomach. Maybe if I didn't answer, he'd leave. But the knock came again, firmer this time. Hannah. Eric's voice came through the door. I sighed. There was no hiding now. I opened it slowly, trying to muster a friendly smile. Hey, Eric. He was standing there in his usual press slacks and button-down, no tie, sleeves rolled up, clipboard in hand. Eric Bennett was in his mid-40s, owned the building and a few others nearby. He had that quiet type of confidence that made you feel like he always knew more than he was saying. Calm, thoughtful, never raised his voice. But right now, I couldn't tell if he was here as a landlord or as someone about to tell me to pack my things. Mind if I come in for a second? He asked. Sure, I said, stepping aside. The apartment was small, lived in, cluttered with empty coffee mugs, sketch pads, and some laundry I hadn't folded yet. He didn't seem to mind. He stepped in and stood near the dining table, his eyes quickly scanning the room before turning to me. I just wanted to talk about the rent situation. I nodded. I know. I'm really sorry, Eric. I've been trying to get it together. A client backed out last minute, and the job I thought was locked in just disappeared. I was going to reach out today. I figured, he said, his voice still calm. It's just this isn't the first time. I like having you as a tenant, Hannah. You've always been respectful, clean, no issues. But business is business. I looked down, embarrassed. I understand. I really do. I'm not trying to avoid it. I need a little more time. He was quiet for a moment, then said, What if we worked something out? Something temporary, until you get back on your feet. I blinked, confused. Like a payment plan? No, he said. More like an exchange. I need help with something. A few of the upstairs units are getting remodeled. I want to turn them into short-term rentals. Airbnbs. But I need branding, design work, marketing materials, a website. You're good at that stuff, right? I stared at him, still processing. Yeah, that's what I do. I've seen your work. That flyer you made for the neighborhood fair? That was yours, right? Yeah. I did that for free. Just helped out a friend. He nodded. I liked the style. It was clean, inviting, unique. That's what I want for the rentals. Something that stands out but still feels welcoming. You help me build the brand, logos, images, maybe some promotional materials, and in return, I'll count it toward this month's rent. Maybe next month too, depending on the work. I blinked. Are you serious? He gave a small smile. Completely. I know you're trying, Hannah. I'd rather help someone stay in their home than go through another turnover and screening process. Wow. Yes, absolutely. I'd love to help. Good, he said, glancing around. I'll send you what I have. Photos, mood boards, that sort of thing. I'd like to see a few concepts by next week. You'll have them, I said quickly, feeling like a weight had just lifted from my shoulders. After he left, I collapsed on my couch and let out the longest breath of my life. I wasn't being evicted. I had work. And not just any work, but creative control on a project that actually excited me. That night, I stayed up past midnight sketching ideas. Sleek modern themes, earthy tones, a little vintage flair. I imagined each space having its own unique name, the juniper, the mesa, the desert bloom. The more I imagined, the more real it became. Eric sent over the floor plans the next morning and asked if I wanted to tour one of the almost finished units for inspiration. I met him upstairs that afternoon. He was helping a few workers paint, his sleeves rolled up, a little dust on his pants. "You actually work on the units yourself?" I asked, surprised. He nodded. "Only the first few. After that, I usually step back. But I like seeing them come together." There was something different about him in that moment, less polished, more grounded. We walked through the unit, him pointing out design choices he made: exposed brick walls, reclaimed wood counters, handmade light fixtures. "I want them to feel different," he said. "Not just another generic short-term rental. I want guests to feel like they're part of something." I found myself genuinely inspired. His vision matched the kind of storytelling I loved: spaces with personality. I took pictures, notes, and even recorded a few voice memos to myself. For the next 2 weeks, I worked harder than I had in months. Eric and I met almost every day to review progress. Sometimes we'd meet in the courtyard, other times in his office, where he'd make coffee and we'd huddle around my laptop. Our conversations drifted from color palettes and font choices to life stories, dreams, and frustrations. I learned he used to be in a band before real estate took over his life. He learned I originally wanted to illustrate children's books. He asked about my art school years, I asked about his family, and before long, we started talking about things that had nothing to do with rent. One evening, after showing him the final logo concepts, he invited me to stay for dinner. It wasn't formal, just takeout Chinese in his kitchen, but it felt warm, comfortable, easy. "You ever think about doing this full-time?" he asked me between bites. "Design? No, this. Branding. Storytelling. Building something." I shrugged. "Sometimes. I've just never had a real chance. I've always been chasing quick jobs to stay afloat." "You've got a gift," he said simply. "You just need stability to grow it." That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I was anxious, but because for the first time in a long time, I was excited. Hopeful. Scene. 2 days later, Eric offered me a new proposal. He wanted to officially hire me, not just for the branding work, but as a long-term creative partner. I'd get a steady monthly payment, rent would be covered for the next 3 months, and I'd get a small bonus if the rentals hit their occupancy goals.